back to Baby Girl, man. Young boy, we are. So, now, picking up where I left off, I was speaking about R&B. That was one of the Donnell Jones thing for the song. Seem to find my notes in it for some reason. But, well, at least the notes that I'm looking for. It's always something, man. Let me see. Maybe I can't find it. Well, anyways, look, I got enough notes to carry on, but so that ain't a problem. But and I remember where I left off there. So on so many words, I was talking about the Donnell Jones song. I was talking about the lust part or whatever. So I think that song right there is a good reflection of the type of mentality a man should have. Well, one more thing. If, or a woman. I'm just saying man because he's a man, but I think that is a perfect reflection of the type of mentality we should start to have more. We should do more of that type of thinking in regards to relationships. When I say relationships, I'm not necessarily meaning platonic relationships. I mean just the relationship between men and women, period. And in this case, black men and black women in particular. Because like I said, I don't know the dynamics of... For example, I don't know the dynamics of other races. But I can tell you this much. I don't know the dynamics of other races, situations, you know. I know all races go through... I know all races go through... I mean, nobody's immune to... shit like infidelity and marital problems. So we're not gonna make it seem like it's just a black thing, but I guess due to the fact that our plight is more magnified, it's like more of an emphasis put on our shit. And one might say, well, it's through entertainment and the white man putting it magnifying. It's like, yeah, that's one thing, but we're melanated beings, so everything we do, by us being the forerunners of the world, the first race on the planet, everything what we have to do is recognize that we were originally meant to be, or originally were the lead of the planet. So on one hand, everything we do is supposed to be magnified, but it's supposed to be magnified. And like I say, we know this plight that we went through was all prophesied. So I said we go watch Sambo, Black Gods of Asia. It ain't just about me confirming who I am. It's about understanding that much, so that we can understand where we at in on the timeline as it stands now. What we need to do to get our shit together. So. But so on one hand, it's supposed to be magnified. I guess you can say you're not flaws too, so that we can now look at the flaws and say, okay, well, this is first and foremost, you gotta admit no one is half the battle. If you don't know you fucked up, then nothing's gonna change. You're not gonna know that you need to straighten your act up if you don't think something's wrong with your actions. So. Whatever we talk about, anything we're complaining about right now, or at least the ones that are complaining, because some people are in the midst of the muck. But that's why I say, with anything that we complain about, that's why I be telling people, you complaining about something, that's one thing. And it's funny because I said this before I even knew about the whole T deity or whatever. Let me get back to that. Let me purposely go off the subject for a minute, but we'll get back to that. knowing that we're fucked up. But I was saying about what I was trying to say about the pollution juke, just in case, like I said, cause it's a lot of shit that I do, and then for some reason, this shit disappears off the shit, and I can't even upload it, so I have to do the video over, and you know the spiel. But what I was saying about the pollution, the Fulu and Shu, the three gods of luck, Fulu, Shu. I think I did break it down. I just make sure because it just can't pop into my head, so maybe I just say it anyway. But I was just making that connection to Fulu Shu, Falasha, Fulu Shu, Falasha Jew in Ethiopia. The black Jews were called, the original Jews come from Ethiopia, and called the Falasha or the Falasha. I just thought that was interesting how it's Falasha, Fulu Shu. Only difference is vowels. The vowels that come after the F and the A. I mean F and the S. So it's Fulu Shu, and then with the it's the U with the Asians, and then when you go to Ethiopia, it's the A, Fa, La, Sha, and then the A, Aliyah. It's Saturday. You did what I'm saying. I'm finna say it's Friday. But anyway, so knowing is the first step. Another thing that came to mind too, because I've just been drawing from a lot of R&B songs lately. I wanted That Girl by Stevie Wonder. I heard it the other day, and one of the lines that stuck out was he said she doesn't use her love to make him weak. She uses her love to make him strong. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And it ain't hard, because even if you a hoe, let's just be real. If you a hoe, an honest hoe, you're not doing nothing wrong. If you a hoe and you're willing to, ain't nothing wrong with, I wouldn't, I'm a Mac, so that's against my player rules, but ain't nothing wrong with purchasing sex or whatever. That's a person's business. Some people, everybody got their own reasons. Some people don't know how to communicate or whatever, which I would advise them to work on their social skills and patience, because it takes a lot of patience when you're dealing with women and courting women. Like I said, I go to the club some nights, I can't get them off me. I go to the club some nights, can't buy one. That's women, they swift and changeable. The tricks of the mother tricks. Even put one woman in particular, she might be one way, and that's one thing y'all need to pay attention to too. Women, 1 minute they one way, the next minute they the other way. But y'all have to learn how to be. That's why to go back to the piggyback off of what I was speaking about last night or on the last video, when we was talking about the matriarchal and the patriarchal. It takes both. But women are more emotional, men are more rational. So, and then y'all have, your monthlies or whatever, and I see that has a strong impact on your temperament. So you might wake up and make a decision. You're more prone to make a decision. We're not saying women should be barred from decision making. We're not saying that. Please don't take that what I'm saying. But by the man being more rational and not having more control over his emotions, because we're not as swayed by the emotion. Because even in the degrees within the nation of God and earth, that's one of the descriptions of the woman. It's one of her attributes. She is swift and changeable, transformative. She's her moves are more malleable than men. Women's moves are more malleable than men. They're more easily swayed. That's why, and see, the slave master knew that, and he knew that we were more. And this is my humble dude now, just to be fair about it. But I just gave you the breakdown. The horse is in the front, Set is in the back. Set and the feminine energy is pretty much the same thing. They just using him as a representative of the energy, but ultimately the feminine, the back of the feminine energy. I mean, the back of the darkness is predominant. It's more. It's a feminine thing. So, so uh, but you have to understand that they knew their enemy, just like you're supposed to know your enemy. They knew their enemy, or they knew us. They knew their subjects that they was planning on doing whatever they did. As you can see, they broke down how to make what they was doing at that time work for future generations. That ain't no dummies doing it. I don't care. And they had help from niggas. Don't that shit. See, that's why when you watch Django, Steven, that nigga. I know it's played by Samuel Jackson. Don't look at me like a Steven nigga. I'm not. I would never. I'm on this. I'm against the system. So we'll be clear about that shit. But the nigga named Samuel. You know how it's got some deep niggas out there with his name. You know, there's weird niggas out there. You know, his name is Samuel. Maybe he's no, nigga. I'm against this. I'm a freedom fighter. Mental freedom. Free the dome. Culture freedom. Free the dome. Free your mind, the rest will follow. That shit is not more than just a song from a groovy tune from Invo. Because you ain't gonna free shit until you free your mind. You see, they took the shackles off, and niggas are still fucked up because they didn't free your mind. You're still slaves to mental death, and black people are still slaves to mental death and power. Meaning you are a slave to your sleep state and a slave to the power of your oppressor, who uses your sleep state against you. He uses your subconscious mind against you, literally using you against yourself. That's you be like, why you just talking? No, why you think they don't have to kill us no more? That's why niggas kill more niggas. Niggas kill niggas. There's more niggas kill. Well, I ain't gonna lie, shit. We saying that shit, but now learning that they been kidnapping niggas and eating them and shit. And I remember Bobby was talking about they had wiped it out in Atlanta. Let me go get to Atlanta too, because I got some Atlanta clutch your pearls. I'm gonna get into it, but Bobby was talking about the projects in Atlanta, and he was saying how they was clearing out whole projects, like they were shutting down whole projects, and Bobby was like, okay, they shutting down all these projects, but where the people going? The people would never be, you know. And he said we was so naive, you know, when that question would come up, they'd be like, oh, you know, they moved them over here, they'd be like, but that wasn't the case. It was like the people would be going. It's like you got a whole project. And he was talking about whole streets. He was like, he was using one example. He was like, man, what was he talking about? I think he was talking about New York when he was saying this. I think he said it about Atlanta at one point in time too. He was saying how at one point it used to be like this block or whatever, where it just be niggas outside, which I know that's to be true too, because he was my hood. Especially like on a Friday night, niggas all in front of the stores, niggas all like, even my hood, my apartments that I rep. I seen that shit go, but they didn't exterminate nobody. They just shut the party down. They just started having police walk around that motherfucker. But even my hood, the last day, I remember talking about the 9/7 and 9/7. That's from like my hood, the apartments I stayed in was at the peak. Like it was, you walking in motherfucker, it was just so lively. You walking there, you got kids in the pool swimming. Like I say, the niggas in the back playing basketball, the kids in the back playing basketball, football, and you got us, we walking around there hustling, smoking, doing all the shit we doing. And you just walk through there and it was just people everywhere. It looked like, when you go watch Menace to Society, it looked like Jordan Downs. When you look at Jordan Downs, they give you a little speck, but it was more like that. The part when O-Dog pull up behind Kane and shit with the pistol. But it was more so like that. And all I know is that Sunday they had a motherfucker walking around there with I think they had some sheriffs come through at first, like that Saturday, and we just walked through there. And Sunday they had a security guard walking through there with a shotgun. And that shit went from the way you seen Jordan Downs, a more magnified version of that, because that's just one scene. But it was like that all throughout the park. They went from that shit to crickets that Sunday. And it was never the same again. Everybody broke the hood, so everybody went, like, so everybody started having a fine. Because that was what we had been from 9-2. It was from, we started repping at 9-3. So we just say from 9-3 all the way to 9-7, we had pumped the block up. We had pumped that Forum West, Ravencrest, Salute, Forum Park. So I ripped the whole Forum. But like I say, Forum Park is the street. You turn off this bitch in it, you make the right on Forum, you go down. That's Forum Park. And it's going to turn into a curve. That curve is Forum West. And on that curve sits Ravencrest. Well, it's not called that no more. I don't know what it's called now. They changed to like a Mexican name or some shit. But that curve, so the whole shit, we ripped the whole thing. And then it curved this way. That was Ravencrest. And second headquarters was the Forum Apartments. That was the apartments I moved to. That's how I really became kind of like second headquarters. Well, not really, because shout out to my nigga G, rest in power. We moved over there, but he had an apartment over there too, where he was grinding over there. That's what I was telling y'all about when I was telling the story about my partner. I was telling him to open the door with the pistol, which is common sense. But that's what came to mind when I seen him open the door, and he turned his back on the niggas who was coming in the door and the pistol. So the pistol was right there on the counter with his back to it, and the niggas facing him. He right here, look going this way. The nigga coming through the door, and the pistol's right here. Oh yeah, let me do that. Goddamn, put that goddamn shorts right now. I don't want to get to talking this shit and oh yeah. Hold up, give me 1 second. Thanks to that groovy little tune right there. All right, we wouldn't want that to happen. Cause I'm not in the middle of me vibing. There we go. So yeah. But I'll just say, just to keep it for sake of conversation, but that's why that's what came to mind. And then, when we moved over there, then he had got an apartment over there. Now, it wasn't like Ravencrest, but it was more low key. But we did a little something over there too. We didn't necessarily hustle over there. That was just more so like, of course, my niggas from the block can come over there when I'm come to the crib with my crib, so they'll come over there and shit. And we'll post up a little bit over there below. We had people stayed over there that we fuck with. Shout out to my nigga John. Old Junior still alive. My boy though, man. I miss old Junior. That's my boy, man. And it's funny I bring him up because his daughters love me. And his wife's name was Donna. Back to the Twilight Diamond thing. So, Junior Mark ass. You got boy. That nigga there. But yeah, man. So yeah. Take it back to the origin of that little story. They shut the block down like that. But them using our mind against us, a perfect example of that is how black people pretty much kill. But that's everybody though, because it's like some of the OGs said. White people gonna kill more white people than white people because white people are around white people more. So black people gonna kill black people more because black people are around black people more. Which goes back to what I was saying about I don't know how the intricacies of outside of television and shit. I don't know the intricacies of how white relationships operate because I hang around mostly black people. It's very usually when I'm around white people, it's work or school, jail, or every now and then I might be out at a bar or some shit and bump into one and we chop it up or whatever. And not because I'm like, I don't hang with white people, just that's why I'm saying about white girls. I don't be around them enough to even outside of school, but it's like I don't even be around them enough to even engage. So know it happened like that. I think that's just my great grandma. She was raised by a white man, but she was living as probably the spirit realm protecting me. We're not saying all white people are bad or you. I said each his own. Because there's cool white people out there. Don't get me wrong and shit. I ain't saying I don't hang with them. But like I say, movies like Get Out, or that is a thing. That's a thing. That's not just because you put it in movie form. You think that's just a movie. Like, yeah, that's just a movie, but that's the reality of that. Is based on a actual reality. So it's like that's why I never really keep my eye all the time. Yeah. That's why that's one of the reasons why I always, even growing up, I was like, but me it was always, I'd have sex with one, but I wouldn't marry one. For one, I just have to choose a black girl, but two, because that's just what that is. That's my natural inclination. But I always looked at it too, if I did decide to go that route, even if she cool, due to the history that we have with them, I know 9 times out of 10 she cool, her parents might not be. Her parents might be racist or come from that Confederate ilk or whatever. And if not, even if not them, you're dealing with, you gotta think about it, mother and father. 9 times out of 10, so either one, so you got two people you got to deal with one may not be racist, the other one may be racist. And even if they both cool, the grandparents, so you go to the family reunion, I don't care what anybody say, you go to a family reunion, but you go to a family reunion, I guarantee you go to your white side family reunion, somebody that's gonna be racist. That's just maybe I'm being a little too hard, but I personally feel like you go to a goddamn white family reunion, it might be a divide. You might have someone that's cool. Oh man, get up. Somebody that's gonna be racist. I just never want to have to even wonder. I don't. That's just me. But I don't know. Go back to the original main line. I don't know how. That's why, like I said, when you hear baby mama drama, you don't hear that. First thing you don't think is black people when you hear baby mama drama. But like I say, other races go through their thing too. But I always say this: I think black people, for whatever reason, we both fucked up. I think black people and white people, if it was a way to find out, I think what it all boiled down to, black people and white people have the worst. I think Asians and Indians, I think they're a little bit more well-mannered. I say they don't have problems either, but I think they're a little bit more well-mannered in their relationship affairs and marital affairs. Just the intuit, someone just in me thinks that, you know what I'm saying? And with a lot of shit, but probably because even though when you dealing with us, because we had black people in America, so a lot of us, I think most black people are in America are descendants of the black people that was already here before white people got here. But I do believe that the Middle Passage and that thing was a thing, so Africans did come over here. So, but it was just like when the world came into fruition. I think Africa was the hub, which it was, but it was people everywhere too, though. So yeah, but what I'm starting to get is they sent the by them. Okay, well, yeah, black people that was already over here. The motherfuckers that they sent from Europe over here to do the invading and all that. Was the worst amongst them. And that's not to say that the Eastern Caucasians are that much better than the ones that got sent over here, but they may have had a little bit more coof because they're the ones that ended up settling, the settlers, the colonizers that was over here. They had a little bit more coof than them because the ones that got sent over here was the worst amongst them because they said they opened up their prisons and sent a lot of their prisoners and rapists and bandits and shit that was over there. They sent them over here. And what I'm getting is those were the slave drivers. So when you think of the slave masters, those were the ones who was actually running the slave plantation. Just like a business. You had the motherfucker that own the business. You're not gonna see the CEO of McDonald's and shit or the CEO of Burger King or whatever, working in the motherfucker. They're gonna have they restaurants and they're gonna have workers, managers, So the plantations was actually now I ain't saying it's like it's no new shit, but I'm just saying how it's I'm not gonna say it's new to me either, but it's relatively it's like I'm slowly putting together the dynamics of how slavery was functioning. But this is so for this right here, I probably really just grasped it within the last past. I don't know, but it's different than when I thought it. You know, because you growing up, you think slavery is just white people got a plantation, they own the plantation, they slave driving. It's like no, the motherfuckers who was actually getting paid, the big wigs of the shit was the motherfuckers that was still over there in Europe and London and all that shit. That was the thing. So when you think about shit like the taxing, no taxation, so they sent their rebels over here. They sent the people who, and I'm really supposed to be getting into the relationship shit. We will get back to that, but they sent the rebels over here, the cutthroats, the bandits, the rapists, child molesters, and all that shit. The worst of them. They sent them over here to do the dirty work and had them kicking back the money. So when they start talking about that, and if I'm wrong, well, niggas say like they don't talk to me, but yeah, like I say, but this is my take on it. So when they start doing the no taxation rebellion over here, think about it, they was already rebels over there. They was already the lowly despised over there. So when they get over here, that spirit is still in them, if you want to call it that. So they start seeing this shit, they like, hold up, we doing all this slave driving and cropping, planting, and all the other fuck they was doing, and we ain't getting paid enough. So they saying no taxation without representation. So they like, well, motherfucker, y'all don't represent us over there, but you want to tax us. So I think that's where the problem came in at with their motherland, but Britain, or not even their motherland, because all this shit is ours. But I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, their headquarters and over here. Because the thing, what I'm looking at it is, when you look at Django, what's the nigga name? DiCaprio or whatever. And you might have had some DiCaprios over here, but DiCaprio, I think most of them were still over there getting the money kicked back. And they probably had to come over here to get closer to their money and shit. But I think they was kicking that bread back, and then they probably eventually said, "Man, fuck that. Them motherfuckers ain't doing shit," and rebelled or whatever. Rebel, shit. So no, what the fuck was I? Okay, so yeah. But anyway, so I think I just saying that all that to say I think that's why when I say niggas in the, because we got to reduce down, because you think that shit that was in the Willie Lynch is just some old regular straw chewing ass tobacco spitting white boy with a whip in his hand writing that shit. No, it's somebody more educated amongst them, and you know they are classes, so you have somebody that educated probably wouldn't even fuck with whoever they had out there swinging the whip. He's like, oh, he's lowly. Tell him to do it like this though. You know what I'm saying? So just so you gotta understand how they move. So but I think I think that's the reason why. Cause I pondered on this before. I'm like, damn, I think we the most. Even when you look at power and shit, I just started seeing. The first time I ever seen an Asian homeless man, if he was homeless, you got scammers and shit out there. But the first time I ever seen an Asian homeless man was shit by 2014 or some shit. And I just started seeing homeless Mexicans. And I ain't seen many of them. Most of the people I've seen homeless around them are white people and black people. Now I don't know about where y'all at. I know I'm speaking of Houston, Texas. I can't speak for everybody. I'm talking about my city. So I just thought that was a reflection of how it's when it comes to the dysfunction amongst races, because that is a reflection of dysfunction, whether you want to believe it or not. Now I don't wonder why I liked it, and I thought about it, like, well, they shit. The original population of white people that occupied this land was the worst of the worst, like the scum of the earth, so to speak, that they sent over here. And you got to think about it. I know we consider them the big bad beast and all that shit or whatever, but even them, you think probably wouldn't have wanted to do the. That's why you see when you look at them. That's why I be talking about Sarnetta. That's why I say, man, I ain't bigging them up. I ain't putting them down, because I don't know what Sarnetta got going on. But when he used to hold them goddamn slave pictures up on 125th Street, that shit was needed. You might say, or get a book called 100 Years of Lynching and go see, just read. Well, this shit is really going to have all the news clippings of how the shit used to go. How they used to announce when they used to lynch them from the lynch. I just heard some shit. They said hush puppies came from when slaves would be on the run and they throw the cornbread or whatever. See the dog would see them, they throw it over there, and the dog over there eat the shit and be quiet and wouldn't alarm the master that they would see the slaves. Yeah, this shit is wild, bro. But get that book. I need to get it myself. I don't got it, but that was one of the books that, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the, it was one of the books that the cat gave my partner before I got locked up. When I told him got all them books, so that's why I was saying it would take. I think it would take the cutthroat lowest part of their society or whatever to actually carry out those atrocious things that they did to us. You know what I'm saying? Cut niggas' dicks off and tying 4 limbs to 4 horses and shit, and hanging motherfuckers from trees and burn all that lowly. That, you know, I'm not saying it was the racism was an institution within itself. But if you look at them people in the pictures, you can see that. Not saying they all, but like I say, you can tell this was the lowest form of them, the lowest of the low. When you look at them pictures, you know, the man in the tree and the other dude point up at them, look at them, and you can see that disgust in their fucking face, or that burning hatred, like. That's how you know it was the Lord, not trying to say, well, the ones over there in England and shit was better because they were sipping tea and shit. No, I ain't saying that either. They just knew they was just a little bit more evolved than that class of white people. They just had a little bit more coof, so to speak, and got to a point they were like, well, I'm not gonna do it, but they can do it, whatever the fuck you want. But so to take it back to the relationship thing, I think that's why. And I say that because you got the, trailer park scene where the man drunk beating his wife and shit, and this, that, and the third, and whatever. So you could, but when you think about Asians, at least me personally, not saying it don't happen, but I don't think of them as wife beaters or having a situation where they beat their wives as much, or Indians and shit like that. Even the Mexicans, they have a little bit more bond. The woman is more, their women are more loyal or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now they got their shit too. Don't get me wrong. They probably be third in line. Don't get me wrong. If not, I don't know, but they had their shit too. But I'm just thinking this is just based off of my life, what I've gathered thus far. You don't even, when you hear baby mama drama, you don't even think of them as much, even though they're closer to us than, they all black really, but a lot of them don't consider amount of them don't, but it's a divide and everything. That's what I was saying with Selena, her family, they didn't even like going to Mexico because the Mexicans down there used to say, "Oh, y'all are too much like them up there. Y'all are not. We all the American Mexicans. We're the, it's a divide everywhere." It's just crazy. But even with them though, if I had to, a friendly wage, maybe $5. If I had to bet, it was a way to find out, I'd probably say that our relationship dynamics is a little bit worse than theirs. Because not saying you don't have, if for some reason I'm thinking about domestic violence, which is good, because I see why I'm thinking about this, because it's going to segue me into what I was going to speak on with the relationship. But so let me hurry to get this out the way. But even when it comes to them on the collective, I don't think that that was as much of a thing. And for some reason, I don't think that this new generation, at least this new crop of us, or at least the last past 20 years, maybe this is some genetic memory break. I don't know, but it's this, I'm just going off the vibe, because I don't be, at least my homeboys or whatever, I grew up with, not saying they might not have their skirmishes here and there, but none of my niggas really grew up being no wife beaters or woman beaters. They probably had fights and shit with their girls before, but just that straight up domestic bit, even that was more so like our parents before us and shit, that type of shit. But I think the Mexican dynamic is more of a loyalty there than our shit. But it's designed that way because we were the ones they worked on the most to break down. So that's not to just big them up and, oh yeah, no, we're not playing that game. I'm just trying to be honest. But to segue into what I was going to say about, just get back to relationships with black people. So, now, this is why, that's what I wanted to talk about too. I was trying to gather my thoughts. I say I can't find the notes that I was supposed to start off with, but I'm trying to go into my inner recesses. So I just speak about some things I want to speak about. And it's been kind of hot this month, I'm not because I see, But it's always something, man. See if I can find it while I saw it. But we're gonna go take it back to Donnell Jones. So yeah, I just think that is the reflection of a man who ideal of how you would want to be in dealing with women. Because like I said, some men pay. That's what I'm saying. I'll get back to the main line with the trick and the home thing. But it's about being honest though. Dating men or being with men or being, and it goes with women too, because you got niggas that do that shit too. Get with a girl just to have a place to stay in, all that shit, and all that old dumb shit. And playing people's emotions. Let me put this right here. I gotta keep my eye. I don't like his eye covered up. My guy, I have to get my name in a minute now. I don't know my name. But yeah, I'm not into that, man. Because I guess we can start here. Emotional manipulation. It's not a good thing, man. It creates volatile situations, and you damage people so much that it affects them. Even when y'all end up departing ways. We go back to I think the Bon Jovi, Shot Through the Heart. You give love a bad name. That's a real deal thing. A lot of people give love a bad name. So when you fuck over somebody in a relationship, you're not just fucking over that person. You're fucking over the whole relationship ecosystem. You're pissing in the pool, so to speak, or shitting in the pool. You're making people fucked up for other people. You send, you give love a bad name. You gotta think about it like this, man. You take somebody that's on the up and up about their, oh, man, I'm slipping. Let me get my jump. Damn. Cha-ching. You take somebody, wow. But anyway, I was gonna say something. Oh, let me stay on this. Now, come to the front of the stage. God damn it, tell me, I'll give us our shit back. Cut this shit out. Let me get my pen so I can morph that. I'm gonna stay on this subject, but I'm gonna get on that when I get back. Come on down, god damn it. Little friendly shit talking, but it's some real shit, baby. You know, I love you. I love all my niggas everywhere, but we gonna get some shit right around here. You know, can't stop stealing from us and taking our shit. And where's the roof and all this shit? Back in ours. I remember the time, motherfucker. Niggas. Dumb nose. There we go. We get baby right. Got to put a jury on. Wow. But, yeah, right. Yeah. Motherfucker. So, giving love a bad name. You gotta think about it, man. Think about somebody that's truly invested in a relationship, trying to do the right thing, and they all lovey-dovey, they head over heels, and they buying the flowers, or they doing whatever women do for men. Well, I just come from a man's perspective. Let me speak for the men. We used to women getting fucked over, but anybody, I don't just teach them. We just speak about both of them. But they're doing their due diligence in a relationship, just curving other people and telling their friends, "Oh, I'm so in love," and you just listening to love songs all day. Oh, I just love her. I just love him, and then you come home and find him fucking another bitch or she fucking another nigga. Ooh. That makes the person feel like an asshole. Like, you start looking back like, I don't want to do that again. That makes the person feel like a sucker, man. So, not only do you damage that person, if that person doesn't have the wherewithal to heal from that before they go on to their next situation, it's going to either make it hard for them to trust and love the next person, or even worse, make it hard for them to trust anybody again, and therefore make them say, I don't even want to be that, like the Red Hot Chili Pepper song. It's that Saturday rock shit. I don't really want to feel the way I did before. Take me where I live. Take me where I want to go. That's a bad motherfucker, though. Shout out to Boss, too. See how this shit all come together? Boss. She started off on that song. I don't really want to feel deep. Detroit. in the building. Yes, sir. Put my glasses back on and on my boss. Bitch. God damn it. Try the boss. What up, though? So cold in the deep. That shit, that was crazy. But, yeah, I don't really want to feel the way I think I'm fucking it up, but it's some of that nature. I'm close enough. Listen to it before I do the next one and say it correctly. Just for the effects of it all. But, that's how it be. You be like, man, I don't want to be that guy again. I want to be her again. Like I said, I've been in a situation before where I got cheated on and shit before I got locked up. Which I'm a player. I bounce back and get my cape right. But I bounce back like a boss man supposed to. But in the first relationship, but the relation before that, those are the ones that was just like the two relationships I had as the old. One was, I was telling you about the Astroworld thing and all that right there, but I put emphasis on these two relationships because those was the two relationships I had at my oldest ages, pre being locked up, before getting locked up or whatever. So that's why I always put that's the one with the dark skinned girl and the light skinned one. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get the light skinned one first, but I couldn't get her because she wasn't even of the mindset of having boyfriends and shit yet. And then that summer, after not being able to get her, that's when I got with the dark skinned kind of light skinned girl. Got a dark skinned girl. Nigga Kanye said that shit. He was like, that nigga took a play out of my book or some shit. But yeah. They didn't look like Michael Jackson though. I don't know what the fuck that nigga was saying. Mike saying, what the fuck is that about, yeah? Hey man, keep my name off the bullshit. Tell you, boy, Mike was a recluse, boy. That's what Eddie said. You think it might fuck you up in real life, boy. Kid to pull you to the side of him. You better stick to the Coca-Cola, boy. Don't let this Jerry curl fool you. I'll put a lacing on your ass and moonwalk all over your fucking face. Tell you, but look, that's what Mike said. On that bad, don't disrespect the Prince. Because they saying it was a diss to Prince. I don't get in between my niggas. They chill. They cool now. Spirit. I don't take sides and shit. But they say bad was supposed to be like a diss to Prince or some old dumb shit. But that nigga, so I listened to that shit the other day. And that shit reminded me of a Texas penitentiary nigga. And boy, Mike said, you don't like what I'm saying? Just slap me in my face, you know I'm mad. Now, my TDC niggas gonna understand this very well. In TDC, it's a saying where a nigga be like, I'm talking to Texas. A nigga don't like what I'm saying, hit me in my mouth. And that nigga Mike said that, you don't like what I'm saying? Just slap me in my face. I said, oh no, Mike. I said, oh no, Mike sound like a nigga, he sound like a convict, nigga. Cause that's what the nigga be saying. These niggas don't like what I said, nigga, hit me in my mouth. I don't really want to be where I was before. Oh shit, man. Goddamn Mike, man. I tell you, Mike was H-Time. I ain't got that H-Time shit, but we got some shit from Mike. Because Mike, tell you, you go listen to, what's that, Get on the Flow, which is one of my favorite Mike songs. That monologue he do at the end, I was like, what you call me down? What's going down? What's going down? What's going down? Woo! But hold up, man. I'm telling you, go listen to some Screw tapes. You go listen to, listen to Screw tapes. Listen to just no disrespect to the North, because this is one of the most notorious freestyle tapes where they was dissing niggas from the North. We ain't trying to respond no shit. Shout out to the North. But go listen to fucking Lean on the Switch, and then go listen to Get on the Flow by Mike, and listen to the end. What's going down? What's going that's how we talk. What's going down, baby? Ooh, 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 you know what I'm saying? We, and you gonna see a part where Mike gonna be like, ha ha ha. He gonna be glad. He gonna be like, hold up. Hey, number Fat Pat. Shout out to my nigga Pat. St. Patrick's. I gotta put it back in the mix too, my nigga PAT. Also, I got a badass track I did with that, but the energy of that boy in the room. He always coming through fucking with me. That nigga say you giving them hell down there, boy. But shout out to Haughton, man. Shout out to Hawk Pope, Big T, Gator. Gator used to come through the hood. Matter of fact, right before they shut the hood down, Gator used to always be through there. He used to come through there, be over there and shit fucking around. Mafio, 3-2, Swoozu, of course, Moyo, I'm missing. That's all I'm thinking of right now, man. Shout out to the squadron. Shout out to the squad, man. But go listen to that damn Mike, man. Mike thought Eddie was bullshitting when he said it. You see who he's fucking with out there in Cage? He out there throwing up them sets and shit, fucking with them goddamn locals. them damn locals. Hitting them up. Fucking with Mike, he talking that shit. Take a mic a hole, take a pull up on you, in the window roll down this mic. Get in the back. What? Nigga jump out. Get in the back, bitch. What's up, Mike? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Hold that bitch down back there. Fucking with Mike. Shout out to Mike, man. He was just cracking some jokes and shit. But, what the fuck? I done lost my goddamn space. So I got a little 52 minutes. Shit, the fuck I was at. Yeah, man. Let's get back to the back. Oh yeah, man. So when you but I was talking about me, whatever. But yeah. So now the relationship that I was in before the one I was in before I got the first with dark skin chick with her. What happened was, it was funny because her mother said it over the summer. She was like, cause we started talking over the summer. And her mother was like, y'all might it was some weird shit. She said, I don't know. Goddamn, I said them goddamn women, boy. I be wondering about y'all be hiding some shit from us. Cause her mother said this shit. Her mama said, y'all, cause her mother love a nigga to death though. I don't want to say no names, but her mother had mad love for a nigga, man. And I used to end up, her mother was gay or whatever. And but her mother, the chick her mother, that's my nigga too, the chick I really want to, I guess I don't want to say no names, man, but her mother's girl, that's my nigga, man. She call me Sally. That's my nigga, man. Yeah, but that was one of the, me and her used to cop my grass from her when she was one of the first people I was copping my grass from when I started selling weed and shit, on a heavier level. It started out with me just peddling the punk sweets and shit, trying to get it together, and then when I started getting like QPs and half a pounds and shit, I started, so me and her became like this and shit. That was my nigga there, man. I don't know if she's still alive or not. I have to check on that, but that's my nigga, man. Cool people. Cool people, man. But her mother said, I used to be over at the house and everything, kicking and chilling and shit. And my mama was like, y'all, she was like, school finna start back. It was my first year. This was gonna be my senior year. This was her. I think this was her. I think it was gonna be her 11th grade year. It was gonna be this was gonna be my freshman year. Excuse me. It was gonna be her 11th grade year, whatever. So her mother said, school's gonna start back. Y'all might break up. And I was like, she had a point though. I understand why she said it. But I was like, yeah, man, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? She was like, y'all might break up. But I understand why she said it. She said, you go to school, see new faces and shit. And now, me personally, now she was just really, I'll say, that was the common thing between those two girls in particular. They were a little bit, they wasn't as fast as a lot of girls in our area or whatever. So even her, I don't even know if she had a boyfriend before that. Even at that time, she didn't start really even blossom. I had an eye for knowing when a girl was gonna be fine. Both of them, even like with her, both of them, it was like they was good look, pretty chicks, but they probably overlooked them in their high school days or middle school days or whatever. But I know I was like, wow, that motherfucker gonna be, I can see it. But that's how it happened with both of them. So, like the dark skinned one, that's when, that summer, right when I started talking to her, that's when she really started blossoming. Because I've been watching her. Because she would come through the hood with her, well, she know what, not by this time I had moved to Beach Nut or whatever. I seen that street name in fucking Ancient East Blighted World. I had to go look that up. But Beach Nut's a street. But I had moved over there, and I used to always see her walking. I used to think she was mean. I don't know, she always came out. But she wasn't really a mean person. I thought she was mean though. But the average person would have tried to. It was just she had a best friend. Used to always walk through like my house. Like you got an alleyway, and then my house sat like right here. Then you had like the front of the apartment was like here. You come in that gate, you can walk straight down the alley, and my house would be right here. Eventually, when you get walk past, so we always be sit out there posted up. And I used to always see her walking through. And the average nigga would have probably tried to holler at her homegirl first, because her homegirl was already a little blossomed up or whatever. Her, on the other hand, she was kind of like reserved, glasses, kind of like the little nerdy look or whatever. Just for lack of a better way of putting it. But I'm always a different type of nigga. I'm trying. If I'm looking for something, I'm like, you know what? Something about her is attractive to me. For one, two. I'm like, she looks like she could probably be a good girl or whatever. She ain't been tainted or tampered with this new tainted yet. Maybe if I can catch her, just like the light skin one. I'm like, maybe if I can catch her right now, before she getting into the fast lane, like most of the girls or a lot of the girls around us, maybe I can cultivate me something or help her cultivate herself with something, however you want to put it. So I was checking her out, scouting her, scoping on her for about a good couple months, pretty much from the winter of my 8th grade year all the way to like going towards summer. And I think I started shooting at her like March or April or something like that, just throwing the darts out there, and then eventually we started talking that summer. And then as soon as we started talking, she started blossoming and shit. I remember we walking down the street one day, niggas, we wouldn't disrespect. She known too, the sister, she was popular or whatever. She was like more laid back, but she was known though because her sister. So it ain't like niggas was disrespected. It was just like niggas was speaking. I remember the one that was walking down the street. Niggas was speaking to her, not out of disrespect, but then I ain't know what you looking at me. She was known like me, so like, hey, she was like, what's up, girl? And she like, hey, but I can see him looking like, oh, she kind of perking out there now. So it was like, so by the time we went back to school that year, I think this is how it happened. Now I know that Elsie, she go to Hastings. My partner, he go to Hastings. Like I tell you, once we went to middle school together, but once they start handing out who was gonna go to what school everybody was gonna go to, my ace at the time, when he said, I don't like doing the best friend thing, but me and him was like really that's like, I was cool with a lot of niggas at the schoolhouse and shit or whatever, but this was the nigga that I was like, I was like, I'm trying to say this, but he was in the street guy yet. He had moved from El Paso. But like I said, even though I was a street dude, I didn't shun people who wasn't necessarily, who was probably still a little green, relatively speaking. So he would come around hanging, and I could see he would soak up a lot of the game I would give him. We'd be chopping it up, woo, woo. And then he started coming in. When I moved to Beach Nut, he already stayed across the way. So he started coming over and hanging with a nigga outside of the schoolhouse or whatever. Which made him, see, he had the best of both worlds like me. Only thing for me is I had more street experience in the field type work pretty prior to us kicking it. But he was a smart guy. Like, I was smart too. I just was privy to the streets already. When he started kicking it with me, he started soaking up the street game, mixing the street game with intelligence. So then I had somebody, not to say none of my other niggas was stupid, but no shit like that, but I don't want people to assume that, but he was somebody that was like, I could really get on a level with. That's why we ended up, when it was all said and done, we ended up on the same level. That's who I'd be chopping it up with about, end up sitting in the room with trying to figure out the problems of black people and what we can do, and man, what if we open up a daycare and charge less so the black woman with the baby on her own can, and all that kind of shit. You know, that's the type of shit we was on. Ain't on the gangster shit. Get out of line. He was the nigga. We never had to do that, but black love affair if possible, if necessary, and that type of shit. I wouldn't do nothing with nobody, but if it was somebody I had to choose, it'd probably be that nigga, because he got it. And if you just trying to do something to get away and you had to do it with somebody, it'd probably be that nigga. But I never did nothing. We never had to get down on that level. But we always made preparations and plans, and just in case we in the streets, we doing shit, we hustling and shit, so we know what come with it. We ain't looking for no trouble and shit like that, or no shit like that. But we ain't not fucking with people. We just selling grass, trying to get it. But we knew, like I said, I told my partner. And when I told my partner, man, you need to answer the door with the burn. He like, oh man, y'all, that's why he said that. Man, you and that boy T2 gangster, man, y'all two super gangster. I'm like, no nigga, that's just common street affair knowledge. You know what I'm saying? But it never got ugly. Probably that's why I probably got locked up before it, because shit did get ugly. After I got locked up, a lot of shit kicked off. The hurricane came, New Orleans niggas came down there. I was getting the mail, and niggas was like, man, we out here shooting it out with these niggas, and who shot some of New Orleans cats. Ain't no beef, but I'm just saying, I don't know how I would have maneuvered through that. But I'm always been they never really had too much of a problem in the street. Everybody in the street, if you're in the streets, you're going to have a few beefs here and there, but I wasn't, niggas pretty much looked at me as a grinder or whatever, get to the bread, so, but I had a few scuffles, you know what I'm saying? I'm a bona fide street nigga, so of course you're going to have your run-ins and shit, and, but, I'll finish that story when I get back.